the Georgia Rotary Student Program is a unique scholarship program in the worldwide Rotary student system. There's no connection between the Georgia Rotary Student Program and Rotary Foundation, which is actually the organization which is responsible for the scholarship programs. It's a collaboration of all Rotary clubs in the U.S. State of Georgia. It was started in 1946 through the initiative of the past District Governor Will Ward, and as I said before, inspired the vision to bring the youth of the world together after the just overcome World War II, to promote international trust through the band of friendship and common respect. The criteria for the Georgia Rotary Student Program, which I was part of, is that each participant had to be supported by a local Rotary club in his home country. The target age was between 18 and 25, and the willingness to participate in the cost. So everybody who participated also had to share part of the cost. Each participant had to fulfill the acceptance requirement of the respective target university. The idea was that every student would come to the state of Georgia and spend a year in one of the state system universities, and each university had its own acceptance requirements, and each student had to be able to fulfill them. So there were academic standards to fulfill. Preferably, Georgia Rotary was looking for candidates, male and female, with a higher social motivation. Residencies in the United States which were longer than 4 months in the past, or candidates which were actually married or engaged with somebody, because they were really supposed to be shut off and really to spend 1 year in the United States and linked into one local club, without any link, which would have been difficult to cut off for a longer period of time. And you can find all the information, detailed information about the Georgia Rotary Student Program on a website, grsp.org, if you want to check on that. Financing of the Georgia Rotary Student Program is that every single member of each Georgia Rotary club actually donates $7 US as part of its yearly membership fees. Additionally, there are payments made through single donations via the Georgia Rotary Student Endowment Fund, which gave $4,100 US per student last year, which means that there is a separate program where people can donate money to, and it also supported the money on top of the donations coming through the yearly dues. Additionally, every University of Georgia university they waived the out-of-state tuition. If you are a student in a state university, in one of the state universities in the United States, there's a difference between out-of-state and in-state tuition. Out-of-state tuition usually is considerably higher, and so part of the support system was that the university system allowed the students to enroll on the in-state tuition fees. And there were additionally financial givings via the single guest club, which were supporting a single student in their home club. So now I'm giving a few numbers. Number 4 is the number of Georgia Rotary students in the first year, 1946. One of them was actually German, which was the idea that German after World War II, after the Nazi terror taking place there, after the US troops marching into Germany, they wanted to also make a gesture and a symbol of like trying to reunite with the German population as well. 3,307. This is the total number of all Georgia Rotary students until 2012. 244 is the number of Georgia Rotary students until 2012 coming from Germany, which is a total of 7.4%. $1 US was the single contribution of every Rotarian in the first year, 1946, which is currently $7 US, which is not actually really a lot of money. And the total cost for each scholarship in use is $13,300, which is a little bit more than 10,000 euro per Georgia Rotary student in 2011. 123 is the amount of actually participating Georgia Rotary clubs, which is every single club in the state of Georgia. Every Rotary club is supposed to be a substantial part of the Georgia Rotary student experience. They're supposed to ensure guest-friendly atmosphere for all the students. They're supposed to integrate the Georgia Rotary students in individual Rotary guest families. In my year, we were 50 students. Not every club gets to host a student each year, so there's actually a competition among the clubs to actually host a student, and each club then chooses a family where the student stays during his year. The students are actually living at the university campus, but whenever they go back to their host club, the host family is their main connection to their Rotary club. The students are also supposed to be substantially involved in club activities like conferences, club meetings, club activities. The students are supposed to be spending Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving with members of their individual Rotary club. The host club is also supposed to give regular information to the supporting or recommending Rotary club in the home country of the Rotary student. And each Rotary club is also supposed to give a welcome and goodbye program for every guest student. Don't actually remember anything about the goodbye program. And there's also supposed to be an official invitation to the recommending Rotary club, which also means that Georgia Rotary, by this way, on a worldwide basis, connects to Rotary clubs all over the world on a regular basis. The duties of the student. First of all, each student is supposed to bear travel expenses, health insurance, and pocket money. Each student is also supposed to participate in activities with his guest family or families. Because there's so much competition, sometimes several families share the responsibility to host a student. For some families, it's also easier. Of the sponsoring club. Each student is supposed to live in a dormitory, which is the Studentenwohnheim on campus, and is also supposed to participate in university classes, in the university program. Each student is obligated to maintain acceptable academic levels, which means if a student doesn't participate in university, if he doesn't take part in exams, and if he does really poorly, he can easily be sent back to his home country. So he's supposed to take part academically, and is supposed to make most of his time at the university itself. And he's supposed to adequately represent his home country, which means also really being part of the university life and academic life. He is obligated to participate in the Georgia Rotary Student Fall Conclave, where all clubs come together with their students, and the Rotary Yearly District Conference. He is responsible towards his host club, his host family, and the Georgia Rotary Student Trustee regarding all activities, and is strictly obligated to apply to all laws and regulations, which means if a student, for example, is caught drunk driving, he will also be sent back home, which is a more severe offense probably in the United States than over here. But if a student doesn't apply with the rules applied by the club, he will be sent home. In my year, I didn't experience this, and overall my impression was that I think all the students were aware that this was a considerable privilege, and there were no problems as such during my year at the Georgia Rotary Student Program. My sponsoring club was the Marietta Rotary Club, which is one of the oldest Rotary clubs, founded in 1919 in the district 6900. Is this the way you say 6,900 or 6900?
Typically they would say 6,900.
6,900. Marietta is one of the districts within the city of Atlanta, Georgia. It's a Rotary club with approximately, I think, 350, 400 members. When I came back to Germany, I realized that Rotary clubs over here are positioned much more elitist. A lot of Rotary clubs that I encountered in the United States, particularly through that program, are much more hands-on and are much more pragmatic about their collaboration and their meeting approach. As a student, I got, it's a very nice picture of me when I was 21 years old. We got a contact card so we can connect with people from the Rotary clubs and also with the other Rotary students. And we all received a Georgia Rotary Student pin, which I'm wearing today. That's the main reason why I'm not taking off my jacket, so everybody can wear that. And I'm wearing this with pride. Yeah, and I got this 1985 and always kept it, never lost it.
Congrats.
Yeah, and to give you like a few ideas about activities, we got this contact card, we got the pin. There is a magazine at the Marietta Rotary Club, Rota Light, where they regularly publish reports about their Rotary students, including a very nice picture of myself. If you can see this online, thousands of people. Then we got an invitation to the Governor's Elect District meeting. This is a picture of me and Doc Holliday, who was the president of the Georgia Rotary Marietta Club when I was there, at his house. This other members of the club which I was spending time with. Then we all took part in the Georgia Rotary District Conference. All the students were supposed to meet for a fun run, which took place at 7:50 in the morning. And I would have liked to say I placed first, but I only placed second in that race.
That's already success.
Still hurts me.
Still success.
And I actually enrolled at the University of Georgia. The University of Georgia is a very, very big university with approximately 35,000 students and is, in fact, the oldest state-chartered university in the United States. It was founded in 1785 and has a very, very nice campus. And for me personally, the 2 years I spent at the University of Georgia, explicitly they say 2 years because after 1 year after my scholarship was over, I needed more time to complete my bachelor degree, and I actually found 3 organizations on campus which were more than happy to fund my second year there. So I had a follow-up scholarship. So my basic experience regarding Rotary in the United States was that everybody was very helpful and supportive, and when I needed more help, there were other people which were actually more forthcoming than my own parents, but I think their main concern was that I might be under bad influence in the United States, but it was actually a very good developing time for myself. There's a long tradition regarding Georgia football. The stadium was opened first time in that area in 1990. The Georgia Bulldogs won the national championship several times, a very, very long tradition. And in fact, I was athletically very interested, so my club helped me to enroll in the football program because there was a connection, a Rotarian connection to the football program to Coach Vince Dooley, and I was actually then able to practice with the team for 2 years, which is really exceptional. I mean, this is really like coming to Germany and maybe practicing with like a National League soccer team, something like this. For me to like wing the academic requirements and football practice was quite difficult. For a lot of students, they didn't have that problem because they were basically only focusing on football. But part of my University of experience was like playing football at the University of Georgia, which is also heavily supported by my home Rotary club when I was there. There's also a little article in the Atlanta Constitution about a German national walking on the football team and trying out to play with the team. And after 2 years, then I actually graduated from the University of Georgia. I spent 2 years in New York working for Deutsche Bank in the M&A department, and then went on to work for CCFB in London, and then came back to the United States to enroll at Harvard Business School, which is actually Harvard University, the oldest private university founded in 1636. So I'm actually German who has studied in the United States first in the oldest state university and then the oldest private university. And I'm absolutely certain that without the Georgia Rotary Student Program, I would have never fulfilled all my aspirations and my MBA degree before I came back to Germany. So to this day I hold like very fond memories regarding my first long trip to the United States through Rotary. And about 2 years ago someone asked me if I was interested in joining a Rotary Club here in Berlin, which I've actually for what reason never seriously encountered, and they asked me if I would like to give a presentation about a topic of my liking, and I thought it would be great to talk about the Georgia Rotary Student Program. And in fact, my idea is that I think that the idea of Rotary is service above self, so I think it's a serious consideration that maybe the the Rotary clubs in Berlin and maybe Berlin-Brandenburg might consider a similar program to invite like 2, 3, 4 students to come to Berlin for a year with an academic focus, partly because Berlin also is a big university city. And I think if this can be a little inspiration for Rotarians here to consider this in more detail, I think this would be really great.